morning, sir.
Hey, morning, please come in and see. Please have a seat.
Can we call my ADC? She said we could call her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll just be listening in again.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Captain Chardo. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Lisa. I'm here with, hi, good morning. I'm here
Good morning,
with,
sir.
good morning. I'm here with my shirt, Taryn Collins, and Mulvani. She's, Castle's flight chief.
Okay.
Yeah. And, hey, wanted to meet with Castle today, cause we had a meeting, was it last week? Last week, right? And we talked different topics, so I just wanted you to, be here, so that way it's not just me and my staff and then Castle, so that, he has some representation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Um,
I'll try not to chime in, but if I have any questions, I'll ask at the end.
Okay, awesome. Hey, my Castle, so I wanted to know, I know we talked about telework last week, but things that you sent here, like, are a little bit different from what we talked last week. And then you mentioned last week you were gonna have a meeting with, the Mrs. Morales on Thursday. So did that change? Do you have a meeting or, okay?
Yep, I had my meeting with her, and she
Or
told me.
appointment, sorry.
Oh yeah, appointment. And she told me, Mr. Morales told me that she was gonna check with her boss, so Major Warley, to see if the TTM can happen, and also if the work accommodation thing can happen as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then that was Thursday. Friday, she never called back. She said she would call me whenever she has an update. Maybe I can call her today and ask her what the update is.
Okay. And then you put more stuff here on, I just wanted, okay, so you put here she called me yesterday for a weekly appointment. I updated her with what was said from our meeting with the commander. He said that one reason for him not approving my telework recommendation as of now is due to not knowing how long the recommendation will be for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did ask her, right, and I asked her, hey, like, cause she put there recommend telework, I think it was, actually I have it right here. But it doesn't say for how long, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't say for how long, so that was my main question to her, like, hey, does a week work, right? Because when we talked last week, I mentioned, hey, I have approved telework before, but it's when someone has a surgery, right? They get convalescent leave, right? And they're at home recuperating. And then if they're still hurting, right? Like, I'll give them 2-3 more days. Sometimes I give them a week more, like, hey, yeah, like your knee or your ankle, or like I have folks that have surgery, and right. So I asked her that question, and the answer she gave me was 90 days, right? And got then I told her, hey, I have more questions about my Castle, but what I know I'm not supposed to ask, because you have not given me authorization to know about your record. She wanted to give me more. Actually, she said something like, listen, like, he has not given me authorization, so please stop. Like, I can't know, like, I'm trying to follow the process, right? And we already talked about that process. So again, I'm here. I want to help you. I want to support you. But I need to follow the book, right? I need to follow the process. I cannot skip, right? There are things that if I cannot give you special treatment, right? I cannot just, oh yeah, whatever the book says, and here you go, take all this, right? Because then I have to do the same thing with all my other 350 people, right? So again, I ask you, follow the process, right? But I do want to help you, like, for telework, there is a regulation also that there's some requirements that you need to have for me to consider that too, right? And then we discuss, like, what would you be doing in telework? Like, I don't know if there's something you propose or anything like that, but in logistics, right? We have fuels. You gotta put the fuel in there in the plane. The plane is here, right? right? Like I can't give that guy, he can't telework because there's no plane in his house, right? Right?
Maybe listings.
Ground trends, like they need to, take people and cargo to, right, supply. The parts are here, right? So, but if you're at home, how can you check on the parts, the part numbers? How can you, you know what I mean?
Maybe listings. You could chime in on that. I'm sure there's multiple listings that could work on to take the burden off of people's flight and stuff. And if I have any questions, I could call the person in charge, like Sergeant Joe Levet. Sorry, it's combining. Joe Levet. Just like, hey man, blah blah blah. Any help?
Right. And again, there's a regulation, right? There's some requirements for the member to have, right? Like there has to be a history of performance and all these things. So there's things that I wanna, and again, I keep going back, follow the process, right? So we're still here, not follow the process, right? Like when I call mental health, like what they give me is the same thing they've been giving me for the last, 8 months, 10 months, something like that. So that's where I'm at, right? I want to help you, but if I don't have information, I can't just make blind decisions, right? So if you want me to help you, like help me help you, right?
Yeah. So also my San Antonio mental health provider called me, like I stated in the email, and she updated this actually to reflect the time, 90 days for it, because I know that was an issue.
Right. But again, right, like I see one sheet, and is this the same one?
Well, it says 90 days, I'm not sure.
Therapy. Right, but again, like I'm not, I call mental health, right? They're the ones that assess me, and they'll give me the stuff, right? Like that's the way the process is like. And one of the questions I asked her, right? My main two questions was the timing, right? How long for telework?
Yeah.
And then, hey, did you send the stuff to TRICARE? Like how do the stuff gets to the mental health clinic here? And she said, yes, I will do that per the patient's request. So again, I just want to make sure I follow that process. Yeah.
Also Thursday after the meeting with Mrs. Morales, she did have me sign a consent form to release all my records to you. That was on last Thursday. And I was checking through my medical records, and I believe in somewhere in March, late March, I believe, that I already did that form too, that I released my records to you, or the first sergeant at the time. So it was the same form that I released. I don't know what the backup is there, but...
Okay, so I'll call Ms. Morales and I'll ask her. And I think with that form, I'll ask her, right, it takes 30 days to release all that information. That's why, and I remember you recommended, right, hey, you revisited last week, the whole TTM piece. Hey, what about a TTM? I'm like, oh, let's do it, right? So that's where I'm at with this, right? I want to help you, but again, I need the information. I'm running a squadron, right? If I give you, I cannot give you special treatment just to you, right? And if I do, then I can give it to other people too.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I think I gave it to you.
No, sir. No problem. Yes, there are, kind of like we discussed, there are some things, some processes or programs, listings, that kind of thing. However, not really specific to inspection. More of the way the section is broken out, customer support encompasses customer service, equipment, inspection, inventory. So those 4 sections under one umbrella of customer support. So inspection, where it does have listings, there are listings that you physically go to the warehouse to check, like shelf life or like items that need to be checked by maintenance. You have to go check them, and then you process the transaction to put them over into maintenance. So where if this is the recommendation from the med group to you, not just necessarily the San Antonio provider. Yes, we could find some things, they just wouldn't be inspection specific, they would be from another section.
Does he have the qualifications to do those?
I haven't looked at his training records specifically. I don't even know if we moved him over into Tifter from TBA, so that's something that happened obviously while you were out when TBA went away. Yes, all of TBA went away, so it moved over into Tifter. We can look at that and see what things he would be qualified on if this is something that,
So what you're saying is that there's some listings, but you still have to go to the warehouse.
for
and
inspection, yes, sir.
confirm, hey, this is right or this is wrong.
Yes, sir.
I think council, to get us all on the same page, really all that needs to happen is this information, Ms. Morales has this information?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and of course you say you released the records, I think a TTM would absolutely be appropriate. And it probably could get us all on the same page so that way we're all talking to the same people and even the people that's gonna be advising the commander. And if we can get that, then of course then he'll have all the information that he can really make a decision on this. That's really just getting us in the loop so we can all be on the same page. So, I mean, this right here is coming from your provider in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Who was a referral from Mrs. Morales since I was on parental leave.
Right. Okay. Okay. Can you request that TTM?
Yep. I'm still waiting on her, but I'll call her today.
Yeah.
See the status of that because she was all for it too.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay. Also, your house hunting days, I mean, the passes,
Yeah.
have you made any progress? Do you have some houses ready to look at?
So I did the application loan that you gave me,
Okay, awesome.
which I appreciate. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
no problem.
And I'm waiting for them to call me. I have the area codes right here that the number should be from today. If
Okay.
not, I mean, I don't know how long I should wait, but it was a long application, so yeah,
Did you do it over the phone or did you actually do it through the system?
this computer.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
And then if that loan gets approved, I can pay off that fee, and then it just starts the process.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
And again, you can call
You can
them.
do a letter.
Yeah.
or we can-
Prioritization.
Oh, yes, sir.
I interrupted.
No, you're fine. 'Cause you were saying the letter to kind of get them back on the list over there.
Mhm.
So you still want to move in?
Yeah.
Base housing? That's still,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yes, sir.
I mean, and like as a last resort, if it doesn't get approved, I have a backup plan for Clovis or
Okay.
Portales. Yeah, because I'm trying to stay within my BH range,
Sure.
and it's tough trying to stay within that. And a place that accepts dogs and that has a backyard, for them to play and stuff, and somewhat of a safe neighborhood, So it's a lot of factors.
Okay. Okay. And so your pass is gonna actually starts tomorrow, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yes, sir. Thank you
Yeah,
again for
Tuesday,
that.
Wednesday, Thursday of next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's already right. You finding out when. Okay. Yeah, right. What else?
I just wanted to, so I read the email this morning, and you wrote to Sergeant Collins, we've had many members that get in trouble, and they also have to deal with people asking them what happened. I just want to ask, so do you view it as that I got in trouble?
Well, there are some things that you didn't do, right?
Mhm.
But, in trouble or difficult situations and all that, like people are gonna ask, right? If I end up in the ER, something happens to me or my family, like people are always gonna ask for circumstances around, right? So trouble or not trouble, or, whatever we wanna call it, people are gonna ask, hey, like, how are you? How are things? Like, right? But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Because even in your situation, it's more so, it's not whether you got in trouble or not got in trouble, because obviously you were acquitted from your court martial. It's the perception. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody has to deal with the perception of it. Whether somebody came home murdered from a deployment, I wonder what happened there, and asking questions. Or, oh, I know these airmen had a ARI this past weekend. I know they got something going on, and they're gonna ask questions. I mean, that's just the nature of it. Just really how do you deal with it mentally? And again, you see in mental health to be able to have these conversations that give you coping tools about how to get through this.
Yeah.
So I understand the question.
Yeah, and then the second part of that sentence, it says, and they also have to deal with people asking them, in quote, what happened, end quote. And then the email traffic I remember writing was, I have to show them constantly my entry of judgment verdict sheet from the military judge just to clear my name and clear that perception on me that I went AWOL. And the other allegations that they have heard from within the squadron. This makes over 10 people within the last 2 weeks now that I've had to clear my name in some way or form by telling airmen the truth and details of the court-martial. And then I state that I'm growing irritable, irate, frustrated, humiliated, still anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed by constantly feeling forced to explain myself to airmen that I don't even know from the defamation I feel that has been unjustly done upon me. So then you writing, and also they have to deal with people asking them what happened. I just feel that that's kind of insincere because I'm pretty sure they're not showing their entry of judgments and having to explain the whole situation like that.
Where did you?
Dude, you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah,
Right? We talked about this last week.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
hey, I don't feel comfortable talking about
Yeah.
this. Like, I'm here to work. Like, I don't mean to be
Yeah.
mean. Like,
I know.
like I'm not here to fight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
But it's to clear my name though, into the perception that they all think I went AWOL. Sorry, Mo Howard. She said that she heard it from him.
I mean, but
You know.
but like, there's a lot of people that
You know.
there's a lot of people that like me, and there's a lot of people that don't like me, and a lot of people talk bad about me. Right? I know that. Right? So do I listen to those folks, or I feel like I need to like go prove to everybody in the world, like,
Mm-hmm.
right? I try to do the best that I can with my job. Right? And I can't be listening to everybody, right? Yeah, to improve, sure, I'll listen to the negative as constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But that's why you go to treatment, right? To deal with those things. You don't have to talk to everybody. Like, you can, hey, I want to get better. I had this situation happening, but now I'm in a better place. I'm here to move forward. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Like, that's something you could, like, you get stuck in these, oh yeah, I got to explain myself to everybody in the world, right? You don't have to do that, right? And that's why you go into treatment, right?
And it's like you're putting yourself back on trial every time you have that conversation. That you're now here having defended and then show your innocent. Like, you don't have to do that. That sounds like torture, brother. Having to do that, so you don't have to. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. It's your truth, and you're living, and you're back at work. And so if I went AWOL, you think you don't have to explain yourself.
Yeah, your
And
focus should
frankly,
be.
you were acquitted. So what? It's not there. It's not. You just tell them either, hey, it's none of your business, or if you want to share your story, share it. But you know your truth, and you're supposed to be, like we talked about at the first meeting, focusing on those long-term goals of either retiring, MEB, your family, your new baby, right? Those are the things that should matter.
Finding a house.
Short-term, finding a house.
Yeah.
Those are the things that, like, you're investing a lot of time in people that genuinely shouldn't matter in your life. And you're investing a lot of mental stake into people that you like you just said, you don't even know them.
Yeah, your focus, your priority should not be what everybody in the world thinks about you. It should be your next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, your fiance, your son, right, your family. That should be the focus. Like, to me, people tell me negative stuff on social media sometimes. Hey, sir, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Like, hey, well, let me try to do the best that I can do, right? But I can't please 100% of everybody, right? No one can. But that's why you go into treatment, right? So they're supposed to be giving you tools to deal with all these situations. So is that working?
I'm not even in treatment yet. It's still like that was an intake.
Did you request the CDE that you were talking about? Did you ask her for advice on?
Yes, and she said that it is abnormal for the person to request it, and then she said that she would work on her requesting it to Major Wiley.
Okay.
But I already talked to Major Wiley because your request was for someone else at a different base to do the CDE. And I already talked to Major Wiley, and she said, hey, I know someone at Holloman that they could do the CDE, and we could do like a 1 or 2 day process, something like that. So, but what she said is like, she wanted to make sure it was legal. So her piece was like, hey, because she didn't want it to look like reprisal, retaliation. So it will be like an MFR from you requesting that. So if that's something that you want to do, right, and maybe that's something you ask Captain Tirado, hey, is that something that is in your best interest? if that's what you wanna do, like that. I already talked to Major Wiley, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll make a phone call, we'll sign the paperwork and go from there. But I don't want you to think that I'm taking advantage of you, that's why I wanted to have Captain Tirado here on this. So that's an option that you have.
You know how long the CDE would happen, or I would be scheduled for it once it is requested or anything?
I'm not sure, but we can get all those details. We can ask that question.
And from the regulation that I've read is once you request a CDE, they have like 7 days to get you in
Oh, wow.
to be seen. So it's a pretty quick process. And then again, whatever comes out of the CDE obviously will dictate the treatment moving forward. So the first thing is, again, talking to your ADC team. If that's what you all want, then just make a request and come in and pull the trigger on that ASAP.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about going inpatient, and then start of treatment, and there'll be a treatment after that. It depends on what they find, right? So I know the medical guy, so I don't. That's on them.
Okay. And there's last things, you said there's been a history of performance issues with me. Do you know what timeline, the dates would those constitute? I just wrote that down here. History of performance.
I don't have that memorized.
Okay. Like 2023 this year. History of performance issues. Because that's something you're gonna have to factor to recommend my telework or not. But you said that my history of performance is kind of something that you have to factor in.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that's right out of the AFI.
Yeah.
It says that.
I mean, on what dates are you going to look at is what I'm getting at. Because if it's my history of performance issues from like the last 2 years, is that what you would be looking at or something?
I had to look back, but I'm trying to. But you were not going to work for how long? You know what I mean?
But was that bad? Was that bad of me still?
You don't know at work, so what kind of performance did you perform?
But due to the mitigating factors and extenuating circumstances that the judge ruled on,
Right.
there's a reason that I wasn't going to work, which she deemed was
I
justified.
agree. I agree with you, right?
Yeah.
But there was still no performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, so right now, right? I know you keep throwing the word telework. I want you to get that word out of your head, right? Until this process is the way it's supposed to be done, like that telework is not gonna happen. I want you to focus on your treatment, right? On your health, on your priorities, which is your family, yourself, right? And get you back to where you need to be, right?
Sure. And then lastly, just so Captain Tirado hears as well, you said I wasn't performing my duties. And obviously, I was just going to ask, how could I have performed it by not going to work, though? Obviously, I can't perform my duties.
Yeah, it's a legitimate question, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to grade your performance if you were not at work?
My past year's performances, maybe.
So we'll get there, right? Because this is related to telework. We'll get there when we get there. Right now, I want you to get the treatment that you need, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to follow the process so we can get, right? So you can get all that support.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And lastly, I wrote down to you said that I have not been following the process.
Mm-hmm.
How have I not been following the process?
Well, we're talking about the TTM, right?
Yeah.
About sending all your records to the mental health clinic so that everything is there, right? Yeah, like we're still dealing with this, right?
Is that me following the process though, or not following the process?
Not following.
That's not following
Right.
that. How could I better follow the process then?
That's what we're
Like me
doing right
personally?
now.
Okay.
Yeah, like just making sure all your records are up to date.
Even though I gave them all my records from the first update one a week and a half ago, I gave them all the new updated records. I signed the permission or the release of information to you in March. I did it again last Thursday. I'm asking personally, how can I better follow the process? Because I think I'm trying everything I can with everyone. It's just I'm waiting on them. I'm making calls with them. So like.
I didn't know you did a release of information for
March. Yeah.
Yeah.
March and last Thursday.
How long are they good for? Because why do you have to do another last Thursday?
I have no
We
idea.
already had one in place.
Okay, I'll ask
Maybe
that
expired.
question.
Well,
But again, TTM, CDE.
my hands are tied. I'm doing everything I can. Like now, I'm gonna call her today I could talk to her.
Have you talked to Captain T about
This is the first
CDE?
time Captain Troy and I have talked. She's been busy for like
Yeah.
2 weeks now.
See, because I had called, and again, I'm gonna ask, because I had talked to the mental health clinic, and there's things that they just won't tell me.
Yeah.
Because they told me like I can't get that information because you have not authorized it. But, or maybe they're not tracking it, I
Yeah.
don't know, right? But I also asked the question. But I have talked to Major Wally multiple times. Like, hey, what's the best call? How can I help him? Or I'm like, oh no, this is not it. He doesn't have this. He doesn't, right? And yeah, anyway, okay.
And absolutely, very last thing, as of right now, I just want to clarify, has there anything I've been doing wrong? Like, have you been hearing from my leaders that I haven't been showing to work, or I need to better do something? I don't know.
No,
Just
I heard that
clear
you've
it.
been going to work
Okay.
and that you've been following. Yeah, you've
Okay.
been doing what you've been told. So
Thank you.
I know. Yep. So again, my focus is right. That how do we get you the best support so that you can get out of all these? Right. You need a house. Right. You have a 4-month baby. Right. You have a fiancé, you have dogs to attend, you have your career, you have your mental health, so that's our priority here, trying to support you. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just keep in touch with you two today about the status of Mrs. Morales and the TTM and
Yep,
CBD.
awesome. And then, if you want to call the Red Cross number that's on that email I sent you, and
Okay.
talk to somebody on the phone and ask them where they're at with the process for that no interest loan, that'll definitely help you out. And again, you have the 2-3 day passes too. And if you need some help looking, or you have any questions for me of, is this the best option for our house? Hell, I'm down for it.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. But again, I think it'd be good to just bounce off of Captain T since y'all haven't had a chance to talk about the CDE, and is this also the right move? So her and mental health team, that way we know you're supported on that side, legally and ethically. Captain T, you got anything, man?
Yeah, if I may chime in, I think the only thing that I would stress is that a CDE is absolutely necessary. If there's anything that we learned about Airman Castle's case is that what I don't want to happen is that mental health just stalls on this, and I think that's kind of what's happening right now. Where perhaps Vazquez, you're not getting all the answers. So if there's something that you have a question about, like, please let me know. I'm happy to chime in. Not my expertise at all, but I think we do need to get this moving. And it sounds like maybe mental health is trying to square away a couple things with legal, but I don't think that's the appropriate route.
Yeah, I met with Major Wiley and legal, and they recommended the CDE is not the way to go. But yes.
It's mental health on the phone.
Oh, it's mental health.
About.
Hello, Vazquez, can I help you?
Hey, sir, this is Sam from Mental Health. How you doing?
Hey, Sam. Hey, I'm here with Airman Castle, my first sergeant, and hey, so I wanted to ask you, have Airman Castle here with me.
Yes.
Airman Castle, are we good with the TTM?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, we're trying to get in your calendar. Where can we do a TTM?
Yeah. I actually can pull up my schedule right now because it looks like if we're gonna try to do it sooner than later, my only availability this week is Friday. Friday morning. Unless of course I have a cancellation, I can call you guys back.
Okay.
But I can do as early as 08 on Friday the 20th.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 0800.
So,
And then, hey, I had talked to Major Wiley a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
about doing a CDE, right? But she meant, like, I talked to her, I have a special request, right? Like, there was some legal things going on with my castle, right? That I'm trying to request a CDE in a different base. And Major Wiley mentioned Holloman Air Force Base. And I'm gonna go. I want to push for that. And my castle, are you good with that? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, he's right here. He's saying yes. So the thing is, Major Wiley said yes, but that she wanted to have some, like an MFR from Emerald Castle, something in writing, an MFR sign, just to, to keep things clear on all sides.
Right.
Are you tracking that piece? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So actually, after I saw Cameron Castle, I talked to Major Wiley about the request, just because I also wanted to hear it from him. And we had to consult with Vazquez, which we did on Friday afternoon. So Vazquez is requesting that man put in writing questions that you want answered for the CDE.
Okay, so questions from me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, it might help for Aaron Castle. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You're right.
Okay. If you have questions that you want answered as well, maybe the combination of both, it could be beneficial. But according to our med legal, his name is Todd Sparks. He said we can't really pursue until we have questions that they're looking to have answered. And so basically, once we have that MFR or however you send it over, it would go to our HIPAA privacy officer, who would then coordinate with our med legal, again, Todd Sparks, so he already has like an understanding of what's going on, or the request, if you will. And so they're going to look at those questions and then determine, okay, yes, let's proceed and have him go to a different installation for this, since he's already been involved in care. So that's kind of how it was explained to us. And actually at the TTM is when I was going to explain all this. But if you want to get ahead of it, you can certainly provide us with a list of questions that you want answered. And so then he'll make the determination instead of Major Wiley making the determination.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you said Friday, 0800.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, do you have everything that you need from Castle site referrals, from off base? Are we?
I'm not aware of any off-base referrals. Do you need me to make a referral, Aaron McCastle?
Oh no, I think more so about the telework thing from my off-base referral that I had when I was on parental leave.
Yeah. So our guidance for that too, Colonel Vazquez, is so we're being told by our med director that we're not able to make those recommendations to command, but I do have that report from Airman Castle with a recommendation from the off-base provider, and I have a memo that just says defer to command for things like that. So I was telling Airman Castle last week too that unfortunately I don't really have any say in whether or not he can or can't telework. And I guess the way it was described to me too was, I don't know or mental health in general doesn't know if telework and if the mission is able to be fulfilled with the telework recommendation. So we've been, again, more or less told not to provide any recommendations like that we have to defer to command. And so that's just what I'm going off of right now. I did ask our medical director to be, if he is able to be at our TTM, I'll give him the date and time today. And then you can also get his guidance as well.
Yeah. Is there any, I'll telework part of treatment or anything like that? So, I'll still put it on my list of questions, right?
Yeah, and so for treatment, we're here in mental health, we're not supposed to provide any kind of telehealth treatment. We have to defer to Brave for those services, and then Brave could make that recommendation. So Brave is our, it's just an extension of mental health. It's our telehealth providers.
Okay.
And so that could be an option if he wants to continue with care. But yeah, again, unfortunately, here in mental health, the providers that work under this umbrella aren't able to make that recommendation.
Do you know, is there anyone else that you know that is some telework, some kind of treatment like that? Is like, because this is my thing, right? I have 350 people, right? And I have approved teleworks for some folks, but it's like they come out of a surgery, right? And they got their convalescent leave, and you know they're getting better, but they need an extra week, right? So I'll approve telework, right? For that case, but
Right.
like, is there any mental health, some
Yeah.
sort of, right? Is there anyone in Cannon Air Force Base in telework for mental health treatment, like 1, 2, 10, 0? Like,
No, not to my understanding. I have known clients who are teleworking for, like you mentioned, medical reasons, and so for mental health, we'll do like a telephone consult instead of them coming in because they're on orders to telework, again, due to medical stuff or convalescent leave, things like that. But to my understanding, and actually Major Wiley had asked the question last week too, for mental health, we don't have anyone that would fall into that,
okay,
like for mental health purposes, no.
okay.
Well, ma'am, due to the rare situation, and how can I not be the first? Because it's like prolonged exposure stuff being in here, and I mean, we talked the other day, like I'm not getting better by having to constantly talk about my case, and it's hard for me not to when asked, you know, because that's just my personality to clear the air, especially on what I feel was unjustly done. It's just I'm not no mental health provider, but to me, it doesn't even make sense how they won't consider it, even with my off-base referral that I had from mental health, that's recommending it for me.
And so what I can advocate for are like, and again, I don't know the nature so much of your job or LRS in general, but for different shift or an alternate duty location, things like that, we can certainly advocate for. I'm just not able to advocate for telework.
Okay. All right. We'll talk more.
Yeah.
We'll talk more on Friday.
Yeah. The telework was mostly due to my alternate duty location being denied by the group commander, Colonel Roche. So this is the next step. But alternate duty location, sure, I was for that, but it wasn't even. I don't know. I don't feel as if it was heard by him, the group commander. Yeah. So this is the next step.
We could definitely talk more about this at our TTM, and again, our medical director. I'm hoping he can join us if he doesn't have anything on his schedule right now. It doesn't look like it, but he'll probably be able to provide a little more, education on this as well, since he works directly with our med legal and can determine, what we can and cannot do. So, but yeah, I'm open to having more discussion about it.
And then lastly, ma'am, would San Antonio actually CDE be an option just mostly due to all my storage stuff is there, and I could just go get my CDE and then come back in a Penske truck with all my stuff and hopefully move into my new home, because I'm going to have to go back to San Antonio anyway, so it kind of just knocks two birds out with one stone.
So I know that we typically choose for if we have, if someone needs a second opinion at a different base, or in this case CDE, we typically go to one of the closest locations. So that would be something that would have to be approved by our RMO, and to see if we're able to, have a base of our choosing. The only thing I can see them coming back with is for expenses. What would that look like? Because if we can pay for you to go somewhere closer, they're going to choose that option, of course, over San Antonio. So I can jot that down and have that be something we try to get answered for Friday.
Okay, and then, can you jot down to whatever the expenses would be for a closer spot that I would cover as much as I can outside of that range? If that's their reason, if they deny it for that reason, then I can cover whatever outside, of what's covered.
Right. Yeah, I'll put that on there, and I don't know if Major Wiley is going to be here on Friday. I know she's on leave a few days this week. Right now her schedule is blocked, so she may not be here, but would you be okay with her being present for the meeting as well?
Yes. Could
Okay.
Like, could I have an ADC there if possible, or some representative on my case, on my end, I mean? Or-
We can't deny legal counsel. We just have to document that legal counsel was present.
Okay.
But yeah, we're not able to deny it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but okay, yeah, I think I have some questions here. So if you guys want to send over any of those questions that you want answered for the CDE in an MFR form or something or other, then we can at least get that going with our HIPAA privacy officer and talk more on Friday.
Hey, I have one more question. Hey, do you know, release of information?
Yeah.
Is there one like archive? Right, I mean, that's what you mentioned, like you submitted one in March for me.
Yes, sir.
So I guess I had access to all this stuff, but I didn't know.
Yeah, when I looked back, I actually had Airman Castle fill out one last week, because I did not see it in his record. There may have been one signed, but I just could not locate it. So I'm assuming that was with your previous provider, Airman Castle.
Well, it was upstairs at TRICARE where I released the information in March due to Captain Lawrence and Sergeant Crispin at the time telling me I should go do that late March. And
That's different, right? That's a different. That's not tied to mental health, right? Because I know medical and mental health are. Is it?
Was that it depends on what you put on the release, because if it has to say like mental health record or pertinent mental health information, something, unless it was one of our release of information forms, then we know of course it's ours. But if it was with them, I wonder if that's why I'm unable to see it in your record.
Yeah, because I did one like 2 months ago for myself, and it has to be specifically at your office. Like I know the lady at the counter, I forgot her name. She told me, no, you have to come. Like I was trying to get the form online to send, and she's like, no, like the only way you get it is if you come here in person. I mean, I know things change sometimes, but I know I tried to do one, and they're like, no, like this is just strictly mental health, and it has to be in person.
Okay.
So maybe that's why.
Those forms were identical though, Mrs. Morales. Yeah, I heard what you said about depends on what you put on it. And I do remember, because I looked at it the other day, I have my entire medical record. I did put for Lieutenant Colonel Vazquez the diagnosis. He has access to all that.
Okay.
I gave him permission for that, I guess. And the reason why you can't find it, like we stated before, you can't find my diagnoses in there. My medical records are over 500 pages. The dates are spread. There's multiple copies and multiple attachments. It's just ridiculous how my medical records look. And I had to put them all on the floor in date order just to even find it myself. So, I mean, that's a humongous reason why people can't find anything in my medical records. Because, like I said, it's just chaos looking through all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I couldn't find your off-base reports.
Yeah. But I showed it to you. Do you remember that Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I definitely have them now.
Okay.
And we're just I put them in the to be scanned pile, so that way it can get scanned into your record, just so we have it there.
Okay.
But yeah, I just didn't see a release, so I had him fill out a release, and he put specifically your name, and I believe your shirt's name is on there. There's another individual that he listed as well, but yeah, that will cover us from here moving forward, which is why I haven't reached out, because I wanted to make sure I had a release signed by him before I did that.
Okay.
But all right, well, I guess I'll see you guys Friday if nothing comes up sooner. But yeah.
Okay.
And we'll just meet right here. I'll block our conference room for an hour.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.
Sounds like progress.
Captain Charlie, would you be able to make that, even if it's phone call or not?
Yeah, I'll have to check my calendar. What time did you guys set it up for?
Friday, 0800, this Friday, 20th.
Okay. I'll let you know. Either I'll be there physically, if not, just telephonic.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Right, so Friday, and then I'll put some questions together, and same thing, and do the same thing, put some questions.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Okay, alright, cool.
Thanks so much.
Alright, second,
Thank you.
please, yep. Awesome.
Bye, Captain Charles. Thank you.
Alright, bye, Captain Carl. Yep,
Bye.
awesome, okay.
Thank you. That was long, huh, man?
I'm sorry, what?
That was long.
Oh, not that long. Could've been worse.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Goodness, is it still recording? Let's see. Yeah. Goodness.